Hey Rivals coaches, Zay Valor here with part 4 of our team building series. Today we're going to be talking about advanced training and how you can train your players to have the best possible success. Now, when I say that, I need to add a disclaimer here. This is my own theory of training, and it is a theory I've been having a lot of success with. If you followed in the Discord, I've played a good deal of people. I am having success, currently ranked number 5 globally, so things are going well. So this is how I've been training my players. Now, if you haven't watched parts 1 through 3, that's going to be pretty important here, so go ahead and go watch those first. They're part of the same channel. You can find them all there. Another thing you're going to want to watch is I put a video out about skill checks called Skill Checks in You that goes over why we want our ATR to be a certain way, why we want certain attributes to be higher than others, so that we can get the best possible outcomes for our plays. So how do we train our team to help with that? Well, what we're going to have to look at here is not only what plays are available to us, but also what plays we're wanting to use. There's also some more advanced techniques of knowing what plays you don't have to train for. That will just be inherently good, whether or not you train for them. So let's go ahead into these, and I'll kind of give you an idea of how I've been training my team. So first thing first, you're going to need to know your game plan. What are you using to win? Are you using a full-out aggressive, I'm going super hard in the early so that I have an advantage that will not fade? Are you more of a, well, the early game's a place for me to get a little ahead, but then the mid game's really where I crush people? Are you a, nope, I'm here to survive, and once I get to the late game, there's nothing you can do about it type of player? Once you know what your game plan is, you can start to train. Now, I am unabashedly a mid-game player. I love the mid-game. I love playing for the mid-game, so I've trained with that in mind. So, how we do that is we have to figure out first, what does each phase look like for us and how do we train for that? For myself, my early game tends to look a little of a hybrid of aggressive or defensive depending on the type of team I'm playing. That's part of the reason I like being a mid-game team, is I can make an adjustment on the fly based on what type of champs I get and who I'm playing against. To do that, I need to train in a particular way. And that's going to depend on who my star players are. Now, I'm not going to go into the full details of all my strategy here. I do need to keep that a little secret for those of you who play me a lot. Looking at you, Nick and FTW. But what we can do here is look at some of the basic principles. So if you've seen any of these videos for team building, you know how much I love my support. So let's go ahead and look at him again. This is Ken Mater, and he is my absolute favorite player because he's so consistent. What he's looking to do is boost XP, ward, and then he has a little bit of a backup plan with Lethals and Chansey to be defensive if I need it and help ramp my team. So what does that look like for training him? So what I really focused on with him was survivability and knowledge. I splashed a little bit of timing and awareness in there as well, and I'll kind of explain why. Now, with Boost XP, which is the main reason I have him, Boost XP is on all 3 of his champs. It is the main reason I bring him. That uses accuracy and communications. You'll notice that I haven't really trained accuracy, communication a little bit, but not a lot. Well, if I'm using him for Boost XP, why am I not doing that? In order for that, we have to look at what players are involved in that play. For Boost XP, it does use accuracy and comm, which I have a lot of on my mid, who is part of that. I'm sorry, not my mid. My bot. My bot is going to be involved in this. So he's got a higher accuracy, and his comm's a little lacking right now. He's mostly knowledge, but his accuracy is good enough to boost the play. Then my jungler's involved, who then is not really trained in either. However, Boost XP is a special type of play that the opponent doesn't get a say in. I don't have to train as high because the opponent's only using their average. So I don't have to go very high on it for it to be successful. So I don't have to train those. So what you're going to want to do is look at what plays you want to use and how they interact with the opponent. In addition, what team members are involved in those type of plays. So for things like team fights, that's where it's going to be very helpful to train all of your players in it. For instance, my jungler, if you look at my champs, he likes to fight monsters, which involves a team fight. These are the primary source of my team fights. So my knowledge is particularly high on him. If we go to my mid, I've also trained its knowledge. We go to my bot, again, knowledge. Support, knowledge. Then my top I left out because I no longer needed it. 4 players is plenty. So I've helped myself here. When I do fight dragon or fight monster, I now have 4 players I know are going to be a part of it, particularly dragon, that are going to contribute a good deal. This is going to make that play as consistent as possible. So once you find plays that you want to use, start to figure out what positions actually take part, and that way you can take advantage of those while still leaving leeway for your others. Now, again, when we're talking about fight dragon, especially in the early game, top is not involved. In fact, it's the only position that's not involved at all, which is why his knowledge is fairly low. However, he has a completely different purpose. You can see here that I've trained him almost exclusively in survivability and awareness. Those are the 2 best defensive attributes. So by doing this, I'm giving myself an out during other team fights. It allows me to still have a decently high chance to counter. Now, when I say decently high, I'm talking 20% or so. You can't expect to have a huge counter bar against someone unless your basic team power is ridiculously far ahead, because you have no way of training for those types of plays, power plays and common plays specifically, because of all the different ATR combinations. However, with tactics and the basic plays that tactics bring, survivability and awareness are your 2 best by far. So I'm giving myself the best chance to counter those by having my top laner and my support train in those 2, survivability and awareness. This is because of where they are on the field. Obviously, the top is going to be in top lane, and then support's in bot lane. I've now covered 2 lanes with decently high survivability and awareness, which then support's going to get helped by bot, and then my jungler and my mid can flex as they need to. So I've given myself the most opportunity to counter without spending survivability and awareness points on everyone. I know I've been talking a lot about a bunch of different attributes, so if you're lost, go ahead, pause the video, go back, and we can start to see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. What you're really training for is specific plays and situations. And how do you make your team members that are going to be part of those plays and situations as strong as possible? So, like from a mid laner, I did go a little bit into his different plays, such as lane swap, fast push. I trained for those. However, his timing is also very high, because it allows him to do additional plays, such as farming. It allows him to be a part of dragon fights more effectively. He has multiple different plays that he can use and be a part of and still be beneficial. So what you're going to want to look at on your team is, again, the plays you want to use, what positions contribute to that play, and then train to those plays. Now, if you can have your team have multiple backup plans so that if someone does get banned out, they can still use those attributes, that's the absolute best scenario. I'll let you figure out how to do that. But that's kind of what I'm looking at for training. I'm training not only for the individual player's internal synergy, but also the external synergy. And in some cases, like my support, I'm not training for their internal synergy at all. I'm only looking at how they help my other players. So I hope that helps give a little sense of what I'm looking at when it comes to training. Now, everything's not completely fleshed out, and there may very well be a better way to do this, but this is where I'm currently finding success in 3.0. I hope that it does help you see that you don't just have to train each player individually, but also as a team. It's a delicate balance, and it's a bit of a culture shock coming from 2.0. With 2.0, we're so used to stacking one mechanic, one personality, and that personality is team-based, that mechanic is individual based on their role. With that being completely gone, we are in the wild west of training. This is a preliminary theory. I'm still working on it. It's something that I will update as I continue to work, but again, finding success with this, really enjoying the way the team plays together and how they play off each other. I hope that this does help you solidify that plan and really get to a point where you're winning a lot more games than you lose. In terms of win rates, what I suggest you look at is don't expect a 100, 90, 80% win rate. If you can hit a 60 to 65% win rate, you're going to be doing really well. There's a lot you can't control in a game. So if you can make your win rate even that high, that is amazing and something to be proud of. So look at that, see how you're winning, see how your opponent's winning. We're gonna go into some other videos here I've got planned, talking about how to read the post-match screen, how to ban, and things like that. So more videos are coming. I hope this team building series really helped you understand a little bit more about 3.0 and how we're building teams. Continue to use the team builder spreadsheet, the search bar, ask questions in Discord. We got a new thing, play of the day in Playbook, where I go through some plays and kind of how to use them, some of the especially lesser known plays, and what they do and special interactions they may have with either the positioning of your players or other plays. So keep a lookout for that. Hit me up in the Discord if you have any questions or anything you want to add, and I will see you all out there, coaches. Thank you for watching this series, and I look forward to the next one. Bye now.